Hello everyone, my name is Aditya Karthikeyan and today we are going to take a look at our Capstone project from the 5-day Google Gen AI intensive course which took place from March 31st to April 4th of 2025. So me and my teammate Shaktivel here have created a linguistic RAG explorer. So why linguistics? I'm a student in my 4th semester now and I have linguistics as a subject. It was an interesting subject and it did make me curious. My grades might say otherwise. Just kidding. So over the course, we learned about how linguists conduct their research. They collect raw data of the languages and how they document and preserve the dialects, manuscripts, and the essence of a language. Many languages have been saved from extinction by this way. So we thought what we could do to make their lives a little easier, and hence the Linguistics RAG Explorer. The objective is simple. The user can train the model by uploading custom linguistic datasets, which is saved in a vector database, which can in turn be queried to get responses relating to the linguistic context. Since this is the very first version of the application, with more room for enhancements and for current demonstration, we have decided to go with English as the language to analyze. Now, over the 5-day intensive course of Gen AI, we have looked over various topics. But in our application, we are implementing 6 topics from what we learned. Few shot prompting, document understanding, grounding, embeddings, retrieval augmented generation, that is RAG, and a vector database. I have also created a blog post about my linguistic RAG explorer. You can check this out. The link for the notebook and the blog post is attached in the description. So now let's get into the actual project. So in order to make the application work, we need to install some required packages. So in the setup, we are installing the Gemini API, Python, software development kit, the Chroma database, the Hugging Face transformers, and the doc2text. The doc2text is a software which is going to be used in document processing. We are importing the needed libraries for the application to run. So here we have NLTK. So NLTK stands for Natural Language Toolkit, and we are downloading something called PunKit. So this is a tokenizer that divides a text into a list of sentences by using an unsupervised algorithm. It is used to build a model for words, like abbreviation words, words that start sentences, and etc. So it must be trained on a large collection of plain text in the target language before it can be used. So in the next step is setting up your API key. So Kaggle has a feature called add-ons where you have your secrets, and in your secrets you could save your API key and use it here. In order to get your API key, you need to set up your Google AI Studio. So once you get into Kaggle, they'll guide you how to do it. So the first step in this application is document processing. So what is document processing? We need to process documents and prepare them for tasks like text analysis or feeding into language models. This cell implements document processing functions. So here it includes 2 extraction functions. This is one for pulling text from PDF files and one here for docx files. So another function called chunk text is used to split large text into smaller overlapping chunks. They are useful for maintaining context when working with models that have input size limits. So now let's move over to the next step. So the next step is data. So in data, we are setting up a vector database using Chroma DB and a sentence embedding model for storing and retrieving linguistic documents and examples. So document processing functions give out manageable chunks, and we embed each chunk using the sentence transformer model and saving those embeddings along with metadata in a Chroma DB collection. So this here is the key part in enabling RAG, where relevant document chunks can later be retrieved based on their similarity to what the user asks. So now here we have created a new collection called linguistic documents. So now let's go to the next step, which is query generation. So in query generation, we are implementing a RAG query functions for linguistic queries. So the function is here. It retrieves relevant text chunks from the vector database that we created. So based on the user question, it retrieves the relevant text chunks and formats them as context here, and it uses the Gemini 2.0 Flash model to generate a grounded citation backed response. So it ensures that the answers are based only on the retrieved context, and it also ensures that it can include linguistic details like the IPA chart or the syntactic structures of a language. So here we have created a sample data for testing. We need a sample data for testing before uploading the necessary data sets. And now let's move on to the UI interface. So this is a UI interface. Here we have the English Linguistics RAG Explorer. It is powered with Gemini 2.0 Flash model. So here we can enter our own queries, or we have a drop down of example queries here. So now let's just select one. And so here we have a sliding bar. So the number denotes the number of source document references that you want the application to display. So here we have 5, and now let's submit a query. So here we have a response. So we have a response here which is based on the provided linguistic documentation. So as of now, we have provided only the sample data and not any data sets. So here in the source documents, we can see that only the English morphology.txt file is referenced, and the English phonology file. Here we have 5 references as per the number we gave, and all of them only refer the sample document. So how do you use a real data set? So let's move to the next step where we have created a file upload interface for Kaggle. So here in the settings of the notebook, we can see that we have 2 custom data sets here. Here we have the English language, we have 2 documents in it, and we have the English linguistics and 2 documents in it. So here is the file upload interface. So here's the code, and in the output we have a small UI. In that we have the function to upload documents from Kaggle datasets. So here we have selected the datasets, the English language and the file, and you process it. So in the output you can see that we have added 170 chunks to the database. Now let's select another model and process that file again. So here we have added 40 chunks to the database. Now let's select a different data set and select a different file, and let's process it. It took a while to process, but we have added 807 chunks to the database. Now selecting the final file and processing it. So it is finally processed and it has added 164 chunks to the database. Now let's go back to a query UI. So here we have a RAG Explorer. Let's select the query again, and now let's have 10 references, and now let's submit the query. As you can see, it generated a response, and the response now is more clear. So here in the source documents we have a sample text. Here we have the documents from the dataset referenced. So throughout these references we can learn that the model picks on the dataset that we provided, it extracts the information from it, it stores it in a vector database, and using that it generates a tailored response. So this was the final goal of the RAG Explorer, and we have achieved that goal. Here is some extra guidance on how to use this application, and is given in the notebook. So that's it for the RAG Explorer. The links are given in the description. You can check it out if you want to know more about this little project. Thank you.